You ask anyone what they want to do for a living, and the answer is pretty simple. Be a content creator. Because a caffeine addiction and a 60-hour work week are small prices to pay for being your own boss and getting to share your passions with the world. And I like to keep a close eye on how that dream becomes more, or in most cases, less attainable each year. And even if you're someone who mainly consumes content, these are going to be the very things that your favorite content creators have to navigate going forward that could make their content unrecognizable a year from now. Let's start with what YouTube's been up to. The largest development for YouTube is its focus on becoming a one-stop shop for content. Basically, a creator can post any kind of content on their channel, and YouTube takes care of organizing and curating that content to make it more presentable. And there are a lot of pros and cons that come with this approach. If you're a variety channel, this is a huge win that allows you to grow your audience in every conceivable way without having your channel look like a cluttered mess, which it did before. Especially because you're able to recycle content in many cases. It also means that there is almost nothing that other social media platforms can offer you that YouTube isn't providing. Community tabs can replace Twitter and Instagram, live streaming can replace Twitch, Shorts replace TikTok, and YouTube finally released their plan for a profit-sharing payment structure for Shorts, much like how long-form videos have been monetized for years, and memberships can replace Twitch and Patreon. So what's left? And yeah, this is great if you're trying to make your YouTube channel as big, successful, and profitable as possible. But I also don't like this one-stop shop approach for many reasons and don't plan on adopting this myself. For starters, Shorts are just way too volatile. You see, if you put every kind of content in one place, you risk one of those becoming a breakaway success that overshadows the rest. And here, that's most likely going to be Shorts, which are the least consistent and provide the worst monetization. That's not good. Unless your only goal is to create a social media career and you don't have a set format you're passionate about, or you're passionate about making shorts. Find me the person who's passionate about making shorts. Also, I've found that followers you get from short form content have the shortest attention spans. They forget about you immediately. In fact, I would argue that 500,000 TikTok followers would only be as valuable as maybe 10,000 YouTube subscribers, at least in terms of monetization and engagement. Like other YouTube creators that grew from shorts and have a significantly higher subscriber count than myself, someone who grew exclusively from long form content, their long form views tend to be terrible. Hell, YouTube is only just now starting to implement strategies for the algorithm to try and suggest a creator's long form content to people who watch their shorts. And typically, small to mid-sized channels posting shorts, well, their shorts almost always flop, and then one breakaway success will come and then not do anything for the channel except gain subscribers. So unless your goal here is to make your subscriber count as high as possible, even though your subscriber count is nothing more than a vanity number these days, then I just don't see the value in shorts for small and mid-sized creators that everyone else sees. I feel like on YouTube, these features are going to best serve established creators unless you're passionate about making shorts. And looking back a bit further, we're finally a year out from YouTube's decision to remove visible dislikes from the platform. Now, YouTube used us small creators as a way to justify this decision, but there were concerns about those in power, large creators and corporations, being able to use this change to hide bad publicity. Since creators can remove comments whenever we want, we could very easily take a video with a negative reception and make it look like it's receiving acclaim. So in many cases, dislikes were the only means of undeniably gauging the public's response to certain anti-consumer practices. So 1 year out, as a small creator, how do I feel about this change? Oh, I love it. It's amazing for me.
Now you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Look, I still don't like this as a consumer, and I still don't agree with the decision, but as a creator, it is so liberating. I've made a lot of videos where I'm arguing a controversial stance, right? So people who disagree with me, very often people who have never seen my content before, would come to the video and dislike it as soon as they realized I didn't agree with them without taking the time to hear my arguments. And I say this because if you look at the videos that I have with the most dislikes, they always have the lowest retention in the first 30 seconds. I'm not saying that because you can't just disagree with me for valid reasons. Obviously you can. And because I'm a small creator, 50 people out of 10,000 are more than enough to drastically affect the like ratio. So it is nice to know that as long as I make content I'm proud of for my viewers, I don't have to worry quite as much. That said, my overall opinion hasn't changed, which is that if this is for small creators, you should lose the ability to hide dislikes when you reach a certain metric of influence, or right away if you're a corporation, educational channel, or some kind of news outlet. Or hell, let the large creators still hide them, but corporations, news outlets, and information-based channels should not have have that ability. It is really frustrating to be looking for tutorials or product reviews and not be able to gauge how good the advice is. Without question, this change has made my experience on this platform significantly worse as a consumer. Speaking of horrible user experiences, let's talk about Twitch's eventful year. Twitch had one big win this year in banning gambling content, or at least content featuring gambling websites with chance-based games that weren't licensed in the US, which these were seen as very predatory. And the community saw this as a huge win that addresses one of the largest concerns they've had with the platform, especially following Slicker using his influence to steal hundreds of thousands in order to allegedly fuel his gambling addiction. And in response to this, huge streamer Trainwrecks TV promoted a brand new streaming platform that promises to give creators a 95% cut of their earnings, as opposed to Twitch's controversial 50. And if that sounds too good to be true, it's because the site is owned by one of the largest gambling sites in the world. Basically, the company could afford to lose money on this site since they would more than make up from it from the promotion they receive from gambling streams. And like I mentioned, Twitch has seen a lot of criticism for offering a really underwhelming revenue split to their content creators compared to their competitors, namely YouTube. And so amid growing calls for Twitch to increase its revenue split from 50-50 to 70-30, what YouTube offers, Twitch did the opposite. They instead decided to commit to a 50-50 split for everyone, including the very few streamers that already had a 70-30 split. So instead of giving small creators a raise so that they could feasibly turn content creation into a sustainable form of income, they gave the top creators a pay cut for some reason. And Twitch actually ended a previous rule that partners were only allowed to live stream on Twitch, meaning that as Twitch becomes a worse place for streamers, those streamers can now explore other options and more safely jump ship, meaning for these creators, leaving Twitch just became much less risky. And there was also the whole TwitchCon fiasco this year, which was less Twitch's fault, but when you're seeing headlines about top streamers in the world breaking their backs, being assaulted, and stalked at your event, it's not good PR to say the least. And I already made a video where I go more in depth into what's been going on with Twitch, and my overall thoughts haven't changed. I think the only reasons for creators on YouTube to use Twitch is the established culture of viewers donating money, an opportunity to diversify your income, which is really important, avoiding making your YouTube channel too broad by streaming on a channel whose niche doesn't really allow for that, and Twitch having a better infrastructure for streaming overall, but YouTube is quickly catching up. And yes, Twitch dominates the market in terms of live stream viewers, but if you have an audience on YouTube, in terms of pure viewership, you're pretty much guaranteed to see higher numbers by streaming on YouTube with a higher pay cut in exchange for viewers that are less willing to donate money. I don't know, I just hope YouTube starts posing a threat to Twitch in the live streaming space so that Twitch is forced to step up and try to be more competitive again. It seems like they're becoming more complacent thanks to their near monopoly in the market, so they're indifferent to community feedback, much like YouTube removing dislikes. And now for the platform we're all tired of hearing about, TikTok. If I'm being honest, I feel like TikTok hasn't had much going on for creators. I mean, users of the platform are increasing constantly, and TikTok is constantly experimenting with new forms of video to bring over to the platform, but I don't think that translates to benefit for creators. For example, re-uploaded content has been dominating TikTok for months now, and I feel like TikTok's inability to remove copywritten content is making it way harder to build an audience there. I mean, can you really compete with the production value, quality, and proven entertainment value of a Rick and Morty clip if you're trying to share your art? Plus, there's all the reasons I listed for not using short form content before. So on the whole, I feel like TikTok isn't really good for anything other than trying to create brand recognition. Your business, your professional grade content, your stand-up, your podcast. Because for every Call Me Chris that makes it on their talent and presence, I feel like there's gotta be thousands who are failing at TikTok. Though even if you do make a career on TikTok, there are growing calls from lawmakers to ban the apps, which are only getting stronger following the reveal that TikTok actually used their app to spy on Forbes journalists. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a stable landscape to me. And also, TikTok unveiled a similar payment model to YouTube Shorts, where they share ad revenue as opposed to the creator fund, which just resulted in random, arbitrary payouts to users from a predetermined pot. And now for my favorite part of the year, where I finally get to talk about myself. Not really, it's the channel, but you get it. What happened this year, and what are my plans for this channel going forward, for those of you interested in that, or maybe just want to know one person's approach to content creation? Anyway, at the start of the year, I really prioritized trying to grow this channel into something that I could justify spending up to 60 hours a week working on. Like, I'm 24, so I wanted this channel to reach where I felt like I should be at this age, and It did. See, I prefer long-term goals over short-term, and my only goal for this year was to grow from 6,000 subscribers to 25,000, which was ambitious, but looking at my analytics, I knew it was fully doable. And then I went 4 months without an upload because sometimes life is a lot. But after coming back, I prioritized the areas I knew I had been slacking on as a creator and grinded my way to 9,000 subscribers. And right after hitting that number, I suddenly had a string of videos that introduced my channel to millions of people for the first time ever, bringing the channel to 25,000 subscribers on October 9th. But your subscriber count is just a vanity number if those people aren't showing up to support your content, which I was terrified of happening to me. And it didn't. The minimum ratio of viewers to subscribers for the channel increased from 10% to around 30. And so on October 9th, I set a stretch goal of hitting 35,000 subscribers by the end of the year, not telling a soul. And the channel reached that on December 14th with just 2 weeks to spare. And then I stopped setting goals for the year because I don't handle failure well, and I'd rather just take the 2 wins and go with it. And here we are on January 1st, with the channel growing from 6,000 subscribers to now almost 37. And receiving more kindness and support than I think I could ever deserve, so sincerely thank you for that. And kind of reflecting on my year as a content creator, I think the places where I most improved are these, which all come down to me understanding that while I started YouTube as a means of getting to write and edit every week, it means nothing if I'm being sloppy and half-assing everything else. So I applied the same effort everywhere, and I'm glad I did. On the whole, I'm much more satisfied with my content. And for the next year, I think my bigger focus is working on my ideas and striking a balance between trendy content that grows the channel and the more in-depth stuff that's more fun for me and the channel's viewers. And I already have a plan for how I'm going to do that, so unless Ned cheats on his wife every week, I should be okay. And I'm looking to just generally improve, especially with my titles and thumbnails, which, thanks by the way for all the help I received from when I could not come up with titles at like 5 a.m. I also want to work on recording in fewer takes while being able to look at the camera. That one's going to be the hard one. And I also plan on getting my feet wet with streaming this year. I am still figuring out what that's going to look like. I'm very apprehensive about streaming on this channel for a multitude of reasons, but we'll see. And that won't be for a bit, as I want the channel to be in a certain place before I start doing things that involve taking time away from the channel, you know? That said, I am on Twitter, and I don't plan on signing up for anything else anytime soon. I am sorry, but I'm not getting a TikTok. Lastly, I got to play around with memberships this year and really just landed on being happy with using it as a tip jar more than anything else. So if you want to go the extra mile to support the channel, that is a way to do it. And as for my subscriber goal for 2023, I'm actually writing it down right now so I have something to strive for in the new year. What? You didn't think I was actually going to show you, did you? I just said I have a whole thing with failure, but don't worry, if I do reach that goal, then next year I'll show you what it says, and if not, then I'm just going to deny that this bit ever happened and gaslight anyone who tries to pretend otherwise.